So this webinar is going to be about how to protect your organisation from a cybercrime, and we're going to be touching on a series of masterclasses that we're going to be doing following this. So this is more like a taster. So there's going to be a little bit of content from the masterclasses, and it's going to be linking through to some of the stats and the statistics around cybersecurity and cybercrime. So just a little bit of background about myself. My name is Leon McQuaid, and I'm the co-founder of a technology company called ThinkCloud. We're a cybersecurity and managed IT service provider, and we have about 150 customers, and we work with local government, Ministry of Defence, supply chain, manufacturing, engineering, and the financial and charity sectors. And we've been voted Britain's 50 best managed IT companies, I think about 5 years running. And we've just recently won what's called the Next Gen Award for rapid growth and innovation. And outside of that, I also advise on the board of trustees for Andy's Mankle, which is one of the fastest growing men's mental health charities. We just recently won the Queen's Award for voluntary service in 2021. We've got 52 clubs growing nationally. So I'm going to bring some advice and some expertise around obviously technology, but also I work with many different sectors. So I've got a very broad sort of knowledge and experience around helping different companies succeed through the use and adoption of digital technology. So what we're going to cover today is we're going to cover the anatomy of a ransomware attack. So you're going to get to see what that sort of looks like, why cybersecurity is a team sport, and then we'll also take a look at the tools and the skills that our masterclass will also be covering on that. So if we look at cybercrime and facts, and also I'll give you an insight into our sort of 4 initiatives. Cybercrime is now the largest organised crime worldwide, beating all other organised crime added together. 60% of small businesses got a business within the first 6 months of when a cyber attack's happened. And there is currently a 1 in 2 chance of a cybersecurity attack for a small to medium-sized business in the UK. And these are all facts from the National Cybersecurity Centre. So we've developed 4 initiatives that we think is key for any organisation, and that is developing your cybersecurity skills, design and deploy cyber resilience, integrate cyber risks and awareness into your decision-making process, all based on protecting data integrity. So the industry is consistently under attack. These are finance, public sector, construction, professional and scientific, and manufacturing engineering. And there's an interesting stat at the moment that we're pushing and teaching that it's not about when you get, it's not about protecting from getting an attack. It's about how can we recover and respond, because we will all get attacked at some point, and that's what we're really trying to push and promote more now. So, what are small businesses' challenges with cybersecurity? Small business owners don't believe it will happen to them, and it's just for the big guys that get targeted. They think they're too small. They also think that the firewall, antivirus, and backup they bought is enough. So they think it's expensive. They don't want to spend any more money. They don't believe that their data is that important to hackers, and they believe that their IT team has them covered. So I mentioned that it's a team sport. The reason why we believe it's a team sport is that we can't fill the number of jobs that are needed, and they're saying at the minute there's going to be 3.5 million unfilled jobs by the end of 2021. So cybersecurity is a huge epidemic, and it's expected to triple the number of open positions over the next 5 years. So cyber attacks are only for the big guys, like we've seen. So Ticketmaster, Wonga, eBay, NHS, Facebook, LinkedIn, Marriott Hotels, Sony, Equifax. These are just a few of the names that we hear and we see out in the media. But when we start looking at GDPR fines and statistics, this is just a quick screenshot, of some of the big companies and the largest fines. But there's an interesting stat or a quote from the Information Commissioner, Elizabeth Denham, who states that GDPR makes it clear that organisations must be accountable for the personal data they hold. This can include carrying out proper due diligence when making a corporate acquisition and putting in place proper accountability measures to assess not only what personal data has been acquired, but also how it's protected. So when we look at that and we deeply sort of understand that, that's putting the onus on all small businesses. That's not just for the big guys. And we have to look at that and bring this into our sort of risk management within our own organisations. Also, she goes on to say, personal data is a real value, so organisations have a legal duty to ensure its security, just like they would do with any other asset. If that doesn't happen, we'll not hesitate to take a strong action when necessary to protect the rights of the public. So it's clear from that statement and that stance that we must ensure our data. And here's just a couple of examples, a larger example. So this is the Marriott hotel who was fined over 100 million for a data breach. And a large business example, the ICO issued a notice, an intention to fine Marriott that amount of money for an infringement. Also, there's a smaller example. This is for a local estate agent. And when you look at what these guys did, this is basically not protecting information. And when you look at the Director of Investigations, what he goes on to say, customers have a right to expect that the personal information they provide to companies will remain safe and secure. That simply wasn't the case here. As we uncovered the facts, and we found that it failed to adequately train its staff, who misconfigured and used an insecure file transfer system and then failed to monitor it. These shortcomings have left its customers exposed to the potential risk of identity fraud. Companies must accept that they have a legal obligation to both protect and keep secure the personal data they're entrusted with. Where this does not happen, we'll investigate and take action further. So the reason why I show them examples, this is prior to being attacked. Our data must be safe and secure as standard, and we don't always look at it as being our sort of responsibility, but we must, as business owners, really look, because when we had that, on top of that, ransomware attacks are going up, and we're seeing them up by 200%. I think it's increasing even further. And a good example is the chaos caused by the WannaCry and PETA ransomware attacks back in 2017. And you'll see more recently about the gas pipes and the infrastructure that we've been seeing more recently through COVID. But in this example, it infected organisations across the United Kingdom and alerted the nation to a costly and damaging threat. When we look at that, WannaCry locked victims out of their files, demanding payment to be sent to the attacker's Bitcoin wallet in order to regain access. It was estimated that the malware caused as much as 4 billion in damages during its 4-day peak back in May. So, that just gives you an example of the sort of scale of that. And then also, here's another example, leaves a local council facing a huge bill to restore services. And when we look at this, ransomware attack leaves council facing huge bill to restore its services, and its IT service had been disabled for the past 3 weeks, affecting its website and the phone lines. So, it's a huge challenge. So, looking at this, I want to show you the anatomy of a cyber attack, and I'll just stop my video so this will play better. So the anatomy of a cyber attack. This is a short sort of video that will go into a bit more detail and show what the anatomy of a cyber attack looks like. So as we can see, you know, we look at it as the big guys, but why don't we hear about small business cyber attacks? Not newsworthy, horrible PR. You know, do you want your clients to know that you've been ransomwared? Extremely embarrassing to admit. Legal ramifications, many incidents go unreported. So what I wanted to also explain, you know, within the masterclasses, we give real world examples, and you know, I've took some of these examples today to sort of share as well. And when we look at the real world examples, this is a case study of a DIY retailer who falls hook, line and sinker. And it's a small DIY retailer, and it received a phishing email which contained a link to financial statement which the unexpected employee clicked on. And upon clicking the link, ransomware was downloaded onto the business server and encrypted files, including the backup. So when we look at that, the business was not able to access the point of sale systems or sales delivery and stock management systems. Our database containing 6 months worth of information relating to stock levels and delivery status was corrupted by the ransomware and could not be reconfigured or restored. The database had to be recreated, and that coupled with service delays cost the business £42,000. So again, you can see, you know, this isn't a huge company, but this wasn't reported. But what impact will have that on your business if you couldn't access your different, you know, your ERP systems? Another example is a haulage firm, and this had a tax bill from a previous quarter of 179,000. The firm's corporate account was capped at 50,000 per day. Therefore, they plan to pay the bill over in 4 instalments. The finance director arranged for the first payment to be transferred over the tax to the tax collection agency. And shortly after, the finance director received an email which appeared to be from their accountant stating that the tax collection agency had changed their accounting details. The finance director then made the remaining 3 payments to the new account, totaling 129,000. A few weeks later, the tax collection agency got in touch to confirm they had received the initial £50,000 payment, but the remaining balance was still outstanding. Following this, the finance director contacted the accountant and the scam was uncovered. Despite their best efforts to reverse the payments, the fund were deemed unrecoverable, and ultimately an unpaid bill is still an unpaid bill. Another real-world example of a law firm, and I think this sort of shows as well, you know, it's not so much about, you know, if you get ransomware and you get all your files encrypted. A lot of people don't realise this. So in this example, you know, this many files, you know, 5 million files was encrypted. They paid £20,000 in ransom to get the decryption key, but the backups were corrupted and it was down for 2 weeks. And the reason for that is what a lot of people don't realise is it's very, very quick, you know, even rapid in terms of encrypting files, but it also takes time for IT to restore them files. And normally it's 39 hours to restore a terabyte. So that just gives you a scale. So it's not so much about paying the ransom and getting the key. A lot of businesses think that they can pay a ransom, get the key, and the backup and running. But we also have to factor in our downtime for recovering and restoring them files, and then also making sure that we, you know, scrub the systems clean to make sure that it wasn't just a distraction like it was in that that video that I showed you with the example. So again, reputation. This just shows you 9 articles in 3 days, and when you look at it, none of these were favourable, and they just build up. And again, we need to be looking at protecting our businesses, you know, and we should be looking at investing in our security from a reputation point of view and brand, because we're seeing it more and more with the likes of, you'll see Facebook, Google, and Apple, and the big debacle that's going on there around protecting our data. Data is becoming, you know, so important, you know, and we know that data is more valuable than gold. So we need to really be protecting data now and looking at it in that same instance. And what I also want to show is another sort of short video, and again, this just sort of sets a taster for sort of the skills that you'll learn within the masterclasses. This short video shows live social engineering, and it also shows the effects of a cyber attack. But I wanted to show the example what we also need to be thinking about when we are putting a plan in place to protect our organisation. Is in this example here of a social engineering attack, it's making sure that our users are trained to defend against this and protect, and what systems and processes have you got in. And this just takes from an event called DEF CON that they do every year over in Las Vegas. and they have done one over in the UK as well. And this is where they bring teams of hackers together, and you get what's called a white hat hacker and a black hat hacker. And a white hat is what we class as an ethical hacker. And the idea is that they're uncovering hacks so that different organizations and security experts can be patching them. A black hat hacker is obviously looking to do things that are not right and not ethical. So it's looking at the differences in that. But I want to show this video because, again, this is really powerful, and we go through this within the masterclass to put skills in place and processes in place to defend against this.
Hackers to try to hack me and show me where my vulnerabilities are. And now I'm going to meet them in Las Vegas at DEF CON, the biggest hacker convention of the year, and see what they found. This might not have been the best idea. DEF CON is the biggest hacker convention of the year. It's a place where thousands of hackers come to hear talks, to demonstrate their newest hacks. It's actually a place that's so dangerous to be on the internet that they tell you to turn off the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth on your phone, and they tell you not to use the ATMs too, because those could be hacked as well. This is the DEF CON ballroom. It's sort of the main room where things are happening, and it's pretty wild. I think this is car hacking village. This car is locked. Can you get me in?
I'll unlock it for you. Should be good.
Hacking is no longer like this fringe activity, and if you are at DEF CON, there's a good chance that you're here because you want to learn what could happen to you or your company.
Anyone here first time in the SCCPF? Holy crap.
I invited Chris to hack me with his team, but they're going to hack me using social engineering, which is essentially hacking without any code. They just use a phone and an internet connection.
We help people with human security issues by testing vulnerabilities for like a network test, but it's for the people network. We test those vulnerabilities, see where the holes are, and then help people learn so they can patch them.
Can we try some of this? Can we try some?
Yeah.
See if it works?
Yeah, we probably could have our star visher here make some phone calls as
Let's do it.
Sure. Do you want to do a sample phishing call?
What's phishing?
Phishing is voice solicitation. And basically what you do is you use the phone to extract information or data points that can be used in a later attack.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Who are you going to call?
Maybe I'll call your cell phone provider and
Okay.
see if I can get them to give me your email address.
I bet they're good. I bet they have my back. But yeah, go for it.
I'm going to spoof from your number, so it's going to look like it's calling from you.
Okay.
Hi, I'm so sorry. Can you hear me okay? My baby, I'm sorry. my husband's like, we're about to apply for a loan and we just had a baby and he's like, get this done by today. So I'm so sorry. I can't call you back. I'm trying to log into our account for uses information and I can't remember what email address we used to log the account. The baby's crying and can you help me? Awesome.
In just 30 seconds,
Gmail.com?
Jessica gets my personal email address.
Now, if I needed to add our older daughter on our account so she could call in and make changes, how would I need to go about doing that? You would have to send me a secure PIN through a text message? Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't think I'll be able to receive a text message if I'm on the phone. Oh, I'm not on there either? So I thought when we got married, he added me to the account. Okay, my
Jessica uses my girlfriend's name and a fake social security number
5127.
to set up her own personal access to my account.
Wait, I'm sorry. So there's no password on my account right now? Can I set that up?
She even gets the support person to change my
Thank
password.
you so much for your help today.
So she just basically blocked me out of my own account.
I'll get her fed after this. All right. Thank you.
Holy shit. So they just gave you access to my entire cell phone account.
You're gonna have to go on and change your password now because it's Jess, my name.
And all it took was a crying baby and a phone call.
Yes.
I really thought that my cell phone company would protect me. I mean, like, this is the most basic stuff, and they're not doing it. And if they're not doing it, you know all these other businesses aren't doing it either. anyone with a phone and an internet connection can do social engineering. But I was curious, what can a hacker with serious coding skills do?
Well, DEF CON is the world's biggest hacking convention. It's hacking everything, hacking social, hacking hardware, hacking software, hacking various systems.
I asked Dan Tentler, a well-known security researcher, to turn all of his firepower on me.
I did get into quite a number of things that I found.
So what were the first things you did? How did you start hacking me?
I quickly found your Squarespace blog and had an idea. Basically what I did was created a bogus Squarespace site and sent an email to you, a fish asking you to go to this website, run this certificate installer.
And I did it because I'm an idiot.
So once you ran that, it gave me access to your computer, and I created several fake pop-ups that looked like system pop-ups that would ask you for your credentials.
You didn't even have to have my passwords.
No, you gave them to me.
I gave them to you.
Yeah. So I stole your 1Password keychain.
And 1Password is where I store all my other passwords. So effectively
and your social security number and your Amex stuff and all your stock trading and bank information. I can send email to everyone in this room as you. I am you right now, if I wanted to be. If my evilness is working correctly, it should actually be taking pictures of your desktop and pictures through your webcam every 2 minutes. And I have been watching you for about 2 days now. In coffee shops, at your mom's house, on a plane. Here's your editing stuff. There's your
oh my God. So this is literally
every 2 minutes
through my webcam.
Yeah, through this guy.
How badly could you have messed up my life?
I could have made you homeless. I could have made you homeless and penniless.
How?
Like,
how would you make me homeless?
Like, I have control of your digital life in its entirety. I have all your credentials. I have all your access to all your financial information, all your work information, all your personal information. I can pay people with your bank account or your Amex account. I am you. I can fully impersonate. The only thing I couldn't doctor would be like your fingerprints.
This is like as bad as it gets.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's bad.
So it turns out that Dan Tentler is very good at his job. I mean, he hacked the hell out of me. He got everything. Well, I mean, frankly,
I think looking at that video, that sets the scene in terms of, you know, how easy it can be for hackers to gain access to systems. I think look at that, you know, when we look at this, all businesses will experience security incidents at some point, and I'm not sure if you knew that almost half of small businesses, 46%, and over a quarter of charities, 26% across the UK, have reported to having a cyber security breach or attack in the last 12 months alone. So when we look at that, you know, within the masterclass, we can teach you how almost, you know, 97% of breaches could have been prevented, and very simply, you know, with actionable frameworks where you can quite simply, you know, swipe and deploy some of these frameworks and have them within your organization straight away. It also sets out the tools and the technology also that you need to support that as well. And one of these tools or pieces of technology is the cybersecurity framework. And we also cover within the Cyber Essentials and the difference between Cyber Essentials Plus, and also into an ISO 27001. And the challenge is this: a lot of businesses are in the dark about cybersecurity compliance. They're not sure what the difference is between them, and we cover in more depth the difference between Cyber Essentials Plus, and then your ISO accreditations. And when we did a survey and you look at stats across this, only 11% of businesses are aware of the Cyber Essentials certification and what it actually means. And a lot of companies are in the dark around that. And this survey was done, you know, recently. And you know, one of the aims of our masterclasses is to really assist and get the skills up on this, and so people understand what the difference is between the certifications, and also what control metrics we can put in and implement on that as well. So within that, cybersecurity accreditation is a journey from the basics of Cyber Essentials to independent auditing of Cyber Essentials Plus to ISO 27001. And again, we work with organisations across these different areas, helping them implement that within the businesses. Within the masterclasses, we're able to, you know, step into that in a bit more detail. We're able to look at the national cybersecurity, you know, best practices. We dig into that. We've got a 15 ways to protect your business framework from a cyber attack. Again, we look into that, you know, and really delve deep into these 15 actionable ways. We put a framework in place with you on that, so you can do a gap analysis. We also show you the differences and what information can be found through the dark web, and we do training around that to really get your skills up. And then also within that, we do different scenarios. So within the National Cybersecurity Centre, they have an exercise called Cybersecurity in a Box exercises, and we take a couple of them exercises and work through them. There's this example, so threat of leaked and sensitive data, and we do a live simulation. So this will give you a set like of an agenda. We'll do introduction and icebreaker. We learn how hackers hack using simple social engineering, the examples I've just shown you there. We then look at phishing attack leading to a ransomware infection, example like I've already shown you there. And then we look at ethical hacking. And what we then do is we look at how can we identify and report suspected phishing emails. So, you know, if an email comes into your organization, how are you identifying it at the moment? How are you reporting on it? And what do you do with that email? And also we look at, if you think you've been ransomware, what is the reporting of that within your organization? And we look at that across the scale, whether you're a small organization, like a micro organization, up to a much larger organization. And we also look at other threats, such as a threat of leaked or sensitive data, you know, what might be from an internal breach, maybe not a hack. And we look at that in a different scope. So that's the real sort of area, the key areas that we cover within these masterclasses. And we also cover off looking at, you know, your computer patching, your machines updated, how you update software within your organization, down to how you secure your domains in your emails with your email records, making sure that everything's safe, secure, and you're following best practices. So Digital Catalyst support. So we also have ongoing support around this. And in terms of the taster session, the session today was a taster session. We haven't got many people on the webinar. And again, we are open to questions on that. If there is any questions, and I'm just going to check. Intiaz, have you got any questions? I don't know if your mic will be working. If you can pop on. Because again, there was scope for you to ask questions and make it a little bit more interactive. We haven't got loads of numbers on the webinar. But is there any questions you've got? Hello. Hi, have you got any questions about the masterclasses that are going to be coming up?
Hi, Leon. We've had a message from Intiaz to say no questions. Thank you.
Okay. I've just seen that in there. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Okay, no, brilliant.
Thank you, Intiaz.
Intiaz. And then additionally, what we're covering as well, I'm going to show you about the Digital Catalyst specialist support, which might be of interest to you as well. And what we cover on that is we identify key opportunities and pain points across businesses. So there's a scheme called a Digital Catalyst scheme. It's currently closed at the minute, not accepting further applications. But when it does restart, and said, have we got a date for when it is going to be restarting?
We're in the process of arranging dates. So not at the moment, but businesses who are interested can express their interest, and we can put them on a waiting list. And once we've got the date for when it's going to start up again, we can get directly in touch with them.
Right. Okay. So again, just to give you set the scene on that. Again, the Digital Catalyst allows us to identify which technologies may add value to your business. It helps us judge which options offer value for money and will deliver the highest return on investment now and also into the future. And it helps you understand the knock-on changes that will be required, e.g. introducing cloud computing could mean different security and working practices. And it also helps you identify how different technologies will integrate with existing systems and processes. How to implement and manage technology on an ongoing basis. And then the overview allows for a digital assessment, so maturity, tech adoption, business performance and future aspirations. We're then looking to expert support, so prioritisation through dialogue and digital sprints, specify needs including technology selection, commerce adoption and procurement process, and we'll look at that. Building together a digital action plan, brokerage and advice and support, so where you could go on governance, and then also technology provider selection assistance with how you find a provider to help you move forward with your plan. So how the digital catalyst can help. So digital technology experts will work with you to identify how digital technology can support the achievement of your business goals and objectives. A typical project will cover the following stages. Stage 1, review your current levels of digital adoption, how technology is driving the achievement of goals and objectives. Stage 2, analyse, review your processes, systems and customer journeys to identify where and how digital technology can enhance performance. Stage 3, define, identify suitable and cost-effective solutions and technology suppliers. And 4, implement, develop an implementation plan and identify the business support, funding and finance required to execute the plan. So examples of projects, which is far from an exhaustive list: digital marketing and social media support, move operations to the cloud, consolidate technology infrastructure, tools and applications to increase productivity, introduce e-commerce, cybersecurity, online accounting, and implementing CRM systems and customer relationship management. So digital catalyst features in a nutshell: bespoke, impartial, one-to-one support for businesses from expert technology specialists, assistance with any aspects of digital technology, including working more effectively and efficiently, developing new products and services, enhancing your customer offer, winning more work with existing and new clients, and attracting and retaining staff, or keeping you safe with effective security systems, as we've just been covering on this sort of masterclass taster session. Then additional brokerage and further support for grants and funding, hand-holding to get you started, and a shortcut to the right solutions for the businesses, and become a better IT customer, in terms of when you procure IT services. So eligibility, exclusive to the Humber region, small and medium-sized enterprises, less than 250 employees, turnover below 50 million, balance sheet of below 43 million, and must be actively trading for a minimum of 1 year. Some sector restrictions do apply, but subject to acceptance by the HALEP business investment team. So outcomes and real long-lasting impact: increase business agility and flexible, and be more resilient. Growth, higher profits, increase efficiency, reducing costs so you can deliver more for less. Enhance customer experience for existing and also new clients. Attract and retain staff, and become cyber safe. So again, if you want to make an expression of interest within this, you can contact the Digital Catalyst team on 01482 686 700, and also email digitalcatalyst@winningmoves.com. And also check out Grow My SME website, ITC Digital Catalyst. So again, currently fully subscribed, and there's an extension in the pipeline. So if you want to contact us to express an interest for when new businesses can join, we'll be happy to be in touch. So that's it on this taster session for the master classes on becoming more secure. And if there's any questions, please drop them into the chat or open your mic, and happy to discuss now. So thank you for attending.